Run859, and I'm here to give you a review on the Call of Duty Black Ops campaign. Now, Activision's Call of Duty games are really starting to rack up a hefty carbon footprint. Forget all of the greenhouse emissions from the copious amounts of military craft and vehicles, not to mention one nuclear explosion. Distance traveling alone is more than most people would do in a lifetime. The Modern Warfare games went from favelas to Rio de Janeiro to a gulag in the far eastern corner of Russia and an SAS training camp in the UK to a village of Azerbaijan. Excuse me. They even had the audacity to go back with Captain Price's flashback to Chernobyl, irradiated Ukraine, and know how polluting these flux capacitors are. Call of Duty Black Ops is no exception in that regard. Leapfrogging from Cuba to the Vietnam War, the former USSR to quite literally the edge of space, and Treyarch even has time to flashback to the Arctic Circle at the end of World War II, as if it hadn't had enough of that era already. I'm sorry that I'm not looking directly at the camera. My notes are on my laptop, and not on my actual notepad, which is right here. So I have to read them off this my Microsoft. If you don't even like the first-person shooter thing, perhaps it's just worth buying the game for the virtual traveling opportunities. If not, then just take a punt for the impressive levels of historical research on show. Military vehicles, weapons, and clothing have obviously been loyally created from the Cold War era, but it's the finer dealers that really stand out more. Even the computer command consoles are unmistakably of their time, and the voice actor for JFK is spot on the money. A+. People harp on about how great TV shows like Mad Men are for precisely these reasons, so perhaps it's worth remembering that some video games, COD, Black Ops, being a standout example, also do a remarkably good job in their own right. Resistance, Fall of Man, and on the other hand, definitely did not. Sorry. Black Ops presents a campaign that's adventurous and believable, but it's also unmistakably Treyarch. Much like with World at War, the initial levels play out like the final levels in the Modern Warfare games, with overclocked gunfights around every turn. And this onslaught doesn't relent until the credits roll. That's very little time for subtly here. Treyarch doesn't even bother with a tutorial, really, but that's just me. Excuse me, we had some technical difficulties, so I'm gonna have to put two and two together. So please forgive me. Anyway, where was I? Alright, Treyarch. And there are times when you ask yourself, where's the foreplay? You feel a bit like Floozy, who's been flung on a bed and dominated with animal-like aggression. At times, we have, like Treyarch, to slow it down and show a lighter touch for a second, but if we're being honest with ourselves, the red-blooded vigorousness of all is just as much of a turn-on. Treyarch is kind of carving out its own style away from the Infinity Ward in this regard, and all the powers to it for that. At 6 through 8 hours in length, depending on your skill level, Black Ops campaign is actually quite heartily compared to its immediate peers, i.e. Modern Warfare, Medal of Honor, etc., etc. Where does it fall down a little, though, is with its variation in gameplay. Yes. There are a few examples of change in pace, such as the SR-71 Blackbird level, and one particularly good section with a hazmat suit that we won't go into for spoiler reasons. But you're left with an overall feeling that Black Ops comes off a little gunfight heavy. Just one or two more novel design ideas could have made the difference. Though Black Ops does a much better job than most FPS titles in this area regardless, so we're inclined not to be too critical. Nonetheless, if the campaign by itself scores a very high 8 out of 10, that could just about scrape a 9. Then COD fans will be glad to hear that all-important multiplayer is a surefire 9 of 10. That reaches for the perfect 10. The simplest ideas are often the best ones, and Black Ops New Wager Mode is precisely that. That will be in the multiplayer review. Thanks for listening to my review over the Black Ops and campaign, and tune in next time.